Hi, I'm Philidor,
And I'm Clara,
and this is A Sheep Staring at Me,
a podcast on history, culture, literature.
geeky things, and life in general. And yeah, it's New Year's Eve tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah. And we're going to talk about New Year's Eve.
Yeah, or New Year's in general, I think, because I think you did some research and
Well, a bit, but generally only stuff that happens on the eve and implies stuff on the next. So, yeah, New Year's.
well, yeah, I did do a bit of research, but only just.
You might want to add that to your resolutions.
Resolutions. I don't know if I have any, to be honest.
I don't have any. It's, why have undue expectations? And that's not meant pessimistically, but why?
I mean, I have general resolutions and general expectations of myself, but I do have a habit of, letting myself down quite a lot. So the bar is very low.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually for me, it's things like drink enough water, maybe sometimes get up even if I don't have to, and things like that.
I get that, yeah. So I guess making New Year's resolution is one of the customs we don't follow.
Not really, no.
Not really, no. Neither do I. Yeah. I mean, to those of plentiful listeners who don't know, we're situated in Germany. So we have Germany-specific customs.
Which are more than, I mean, I've researched it, and the customs somewhere else are not as many somehow.
Yeah, or we don't know, but I doubt that because customs are usually sensationalized.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other customs for other holidays and other things in other countries. Like there's so much stuff. But New Year's Eve, it until like 2 years ago, it was a mental day. Like it was just mental.
Yeah.
There was fireworks like crazy. There was people getting hit over the head with fireworks because they fall down again.
If you ask me, those are the least important customs.
Yeah, and then what do we have?
Lead
pouring.
I'm gonna have a rant about that too. I have two rants coming, so there's that.
Then do a rant, please.
Okay, first of all, fireworks, because I started with that. I do like a good noise and lights. I do like that, but it gets out of hand sometimes when people injure themselves and do it in places they shouldn't, and do it in closed residential areas and scare pets. And so, part of me just wants when I say good old Victorian New Year's, that sounds wrong because people died in the Victorian age too, and a lot of people died. And,
Yeah, but I mean, I think we've established the fact that, again, a lot of people die because of stupidity mainly.
Yeah, and what I mean by that is less the whole commercialized tum-tum around New Year's, and maybe a good old bell. Bells, they do ring on New Year's. I had to ask my mother yesterday. I asked her, do the bells actually ring at midnight?
Yes,
and she said, they do. But I'm so used to not hearing them because there's the bloody fireworks. And the first swear of this episode belongs to me.
Yeah, but I kind of didn't. I mean, there was a lot of fireworks when I grew up, obviously.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. But I remember growing up, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day was actually a lot more like superstitions and things like that. Lead pouring, I got introduced to in Bavaria when I was about 7 or 8.
Huh.
And because my dad lives in Bavaria, and I spent New Year's there, and we then did the lead pouring, and it kind of, I mean, to explain it, it's kind of, you hold a bit of lead in a like a tiny pan over a, I don't know, candle usually.
Yeah.
And so you melt it, and then you look what kind of how it looks then. It's kind of like reading tea leaves, but with lead.
Yeah, and you let it fall into water when it's molten, and then it
Oh,
instantly solidifies, and then you look at the shape it gets, and you get your well, kind of your message for the new year. And sometimes there's with those lead pouring kits, there's a sheet of paper where you can see what symbolizes which. We always used to go for just general assumptions, because it never looks like a perfect horseshoe or a four-leaf clover, and that's the easy forms. But yeah, also lead pouring, they don't sell lead anymore, out of probably very sensible reasons, because lead is sort of poisonous and
sort of very
and
yeah, people are very stupid.
Yeah, I mean, if people hurt themselves with obviously dangerous things like fireworks, imagine the lead. So I do get it.
I mean, I remember hurting myself with it simply because it was hot.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
yeah, and that's not out of stupidity, that's pure clumsiness. So it can
and I was 7, so you know.
We always used to do lead pouring, and I did like it. So yeah, the new version of lead pouring is wax pouring. They do sell lead pouring kits that are with wax, but it doesn't work as well. Yes, you can melt it. Yes, you can pour it into water, but it's not this satisfying chink when it instantly solidifies. And
yeah, and with wax, if you pour wax into water, I don't know if you have ever done that, but
just a drop.
If you pour it in there, it just becomes perfect drops usually.
Yeah, which probably is a message in itself.
Yeah, I mean, that you shouldn't do that, because why the fuck bother?
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I only remember lead pouring like once or twice.
Yeah.
It's so vague.
We often did it, but I really liked it. But I was always disappointed because my shape never was anything nice. Once it looked like sort of a submarine, you know, like this torpedo form of old submarines. So yeah, it usually becomes either something phallic, flat, or totally unassuming.
But do you really believe in that kind of stuff?
No, but I choose to believe, and you know, I don't know. I was little. I don't know if I ever believed, but
I mean,
it was fun.
I mean, I'm a very agnostic kind of person. I question everything. But that doesn't mean that, you know, if I don't have an answer, that doesn't mean that, I mean, I'm still questioning it, but sometimes I just go with things. And I
know what you mean, though. I know. I think I do it similarly. It's, you know, if it helps, why not believe it? And
yeah, I mean, if it's a bad thing, you can just go,
yeah, I'll do it differently.
No, and I find it really funny, you know, looking at New Year's traditions, because I looked up Pagan New Year's traditions, and technically what we call New Year's Eve isn't the Pagan New Year, as far as I understand. I think we've actually gotten several different things, that Samhain is, so Halloween basically is the New Year, or that I read somewhere at some point, I don't know if it's correct in any way, that Beltane is, so the 1st of May. But anyway, I don't know. If anybody knows, message us, please. I really want to know. But yeah, I googled it, pagan traditions for New Year's, and I found something. Well, I guess it's an article with the text, with the title, "What does a witch do on New Year's Eve?" And I find that very interesting, because essentially it just says that Pagan New Year's traditions include manifesting good things with the law of attraction, drinking and partying with friends and family, setting goals for the new year, plus witchy rituals like cleansing, banishing, and divination. Which essentially, let's be honest, is what we do in like this Christianized, context that we live in, which, Germany is a Christian country at its basis, and it's a thing that politicians always say all the bloody time for some reason. I don't know, especially in Bavaria. Yeah, and but we still do very similar things like divination. I mean, lead pouring is essentially divination. Then cleansing. My mum, for example, doesn't wash between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, we do, because we have a dryer. The ghosts will get dizzy in that.
Yeah, no, but it's kind of more like, because of, I don't know how it's in English, but the Rauhnächte, which is the time in between. And if you put up any sheets or anything, it kind of I don't know, it was a horsey kind of monster that comes then, I think.
Yeah, but
I'm
it also
not sure.
has a practical reason, which I, of course, have forgotten.
Yeah, of course, I've forgotten that too. But anyway, it's kind of to, essentially my mum says the day before Christmas Eve, she essentially says, okay, this is the last washing machine load of the year, and then it's it. And yeah, anyway, but that's one thing. So cleansing, I guess you don't really do much, do you? Like we don't have uni. My mum, for example, doesn't have to work, because a lot of people, don't have to work in between. And it's just kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really do much. I mean,
Yeah, but
yeah. I mean, the lead pouring isn't done anymore. We do have a raclette, so it's personal little customs that are not necessarily grounded in
yeah.
myths. Small things like lighting a whatever Wunderkerzen are called in English, those sparkly little hand fireworks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know. For me, it's kind of complicated, because I always spent New Year's either at my dad's, or then once at my grandparents, when they still had a holiday flat thingy. I think I was about 9 years old then, and I always spent it somewhere else, and then at a friend's and at another friend's at some point. And then the last few years I was just at home. And I think 2 years ago, so 2019, I spent most of New Year's Eve at the nursing home, looking after my granddad, who was still alive then.
Mm.
And we left at like 9:30 in the evening, and just got some food and just sat down and just watched some telly. And that
Yeah.
was just, and I think last year was similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, watching telly. I remember that's one of our traditions too, watching a dinner for one.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's the most German thing in the world,
Yeah.
because it's so English. It's an English
So
sketch.
English, and it's not even known widely in English. It's
In
just,
England, most people haven't got a clue.
and we watch it in English.
Yeah, of course, everyone does. It's so weird. I don't know. And Germans also, everyone knows it. Like, we watched it in school at some point, because some of us didn't know it. So we watched it in school on the last day before the holidays or something, with my English teacher. I think it was year 7 or something. So I was like 12. And it was really quite, it's like a huge thing. And if someone quotes something from it, everyone gets it.
Yeah.
And
It's one of my favorite obscure things. Not necessarily to do, because then we have to set up the TV and look if which program has it in English, and of course we're never prepared. And then we'll find it in the stream eventually, and yeah, then we watch it, and setting up takes longer than the sketch itself.
it's
But
like 15 minutes or something.
yeah,
10. It's not long.
it's not long, but it touches the line of being too long. You know what I mean?
I mean, for sketch, yes.
Yeah, for a sketch, definitely. And I, at some point, I always start thinking, oh, just get on with it. Just don't stumble over the tiger a 10th time.
But he definitely will, because
Yeah.
that's literally the sketch.
And that's my favorite bit of it, because obviously it is. And when I was little, that was the only thing I could understand. Because even when we watched it in German, the jokes just went over my head, and I thought, well, why is it funny that he drinks all the glasses? Why is he drunk? Because I had no understanding of alcohol, and that he was drinking port wine for 6 people, and that 6 times, or I don't know how many times.
And had to pretend to be different people because
Yeah.
they're probably all
Well
there.
done on that, although the German is a bit cringy.
Yeah, but isn't it always, if English people try to pretend to be German and don't actually speak German, or even if they do, it's sometimes a bit cringy.
I'm so taken aback when I watch TV. This is getting slightly away from the topic. When I watch TV or films, and people speak German and they do it really well. If that happens, I don't get it, because my German brain isn't in it yet. When it's German with an English accent, or German with an American accent, German with an accent, when it's trying to be German but really doesn't touch it, I understand it. But when it's good German, my German brain isn't engaged.
With me, I have a similar problem. But if it's a good German accent, if the person really does speak German, I'm confused because I understand everything, but it kind of just doesn't click for a moment.
It doesn't register yet as another language.
If it's really shitty German, I don't realize that it's German. And if it's like over Netflix, it sometimes doesn't give you subtitles if you have the free thing in German, and it's German, and it kind of has that in the system, and it doesn't give you subtitles, and I'm confused why I haven't got subtitles, because I don't understand a fucking word.
Yeah. Oh,
and yeah.
Absolute side note to subtitles. The funniest mishap with subtitles that happened to me was watching the Star Trek films over at my grandparents', and apparently they hadn't quite used subtitles, and which I don't understand, because on the DVD I can switch off subtitles, and the subtitles for Klingon are still there, but on TV they weren't. And I was taken aback by that, because that's such an obscure decision to not have subtitles for an alien language.
I had a similar thing with the Lord of the Rings films.
Oh.
In the first one, there is in the extended version, or special extended version especially, is a very long scene where they just speak Elvish. And it's like a 5-minute scene.
That's long for an alien language.
Yeah. They didn't have subtitles in one DVD version, or we didn't have subtitles on, and it didn't give subtitles. And I mean, I didn't have a fucking clue what they said, but I was like 12, so
yeah.
I mean, I know the storyline, so it makes sense, but until the point where I got the DVD version where it does have the subtitles on there, I mean, that was a while.
That is fun, yeah. I have to assume I didn't have subtitles on my VHS cassettes where I first consumed the Star Trek films. I have no idea. Well, anyway.
I mean, I think, I mean, I watched them on VHS as well first, because we got those as a bulk when I was like 11, and I was relatively sick for a while. And we watched all the Star Trek stuff that we had, which was a lot.
Yeah, even at that time.
It was minus a few series, but it was a lot.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it goes to show that you can say minus a few series and it's still a lot.
yeah.
So yeah,
But anyway, back to New Year's Eve.
indeed.
What kind of like customs did you find otherwise?
So one of my favorite New Year's Eve costumes that I just like the idea of, but I never would do myself because it includes cleaning up or would imply cleaning up, is the Danish customs of smashing plates. I mean, it's well known, I think.
We do that. I mean, we, as in the Germans, do that before a wedding.
Yeah, I think that's why it seemed familiar.
Yeah, in Germany, we have this custom of smashing plates. As in Polternacht.
Yeah,
poltering night, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's the day before the wedding, usually, and the evening before the wedding. And if it's like a small town or something, the whole town comes and brings old plates and things.
Yeah.
And then everybody smashes them. And if it's a lot of stuff, it means it's going to be a very good marriage.
Yeah, it's basically the same principle with the Danish plate breaking as well. Funnily enough, though, you don't smash the plates on your own front door, but in front of your friends and family's front doors.
But that's essentially if a lot of people come and smash their plates. Yeah. That means
makes sense. I don't like it. I like the idea, but just imagine a lot of people coming and smashing plates on your doorstep.
I mean, thanks. It's a hazard, isn't it? I mean, especially again, you have pets. I don't. But you know, if you have pets and people do that, you have to clean it up very well, so they don't cut themselves, or you don't cut yourself, or whatever. And it's just a hazard.
I mean, chances are someone's gonna break something on New Year's Eve anyway around here. Or in the weeks before, my mother smashed a champagne glass on Christmas Eve. She was so pissed at herself, and I said, well, it means good luck.
Yeah, but other than...
It wasn't even champagne in it, it was alcohol-free something.
Yeah, but I mean, what I find interesting is if you smash plates on New Year's Eve, it means good luck. But if you smash a mirror, it means 7 years bad luck. What
if you smash a mirror and a plate?
That's going to be interesting.
Better yet,
I also heard at some
smash a mirror under a ladder with a plate. Well, that's going to be bad luck because it's two bad, one good.
I don't know why, but for me, I'm also someone who I was born on the 13th of July, and not on a Friday, sadly, but I can only remember that the best two birthdays I ever had were on Friday the 13th, and I don't know why. And I genuinely don't know why, but Friday the 13th has never been a negative thing for me, and so kind of most of the negative things or the omens or whatever kind of didn't turn out being bad things for me, but kind of just either warnings, and I took them as warnings or whatever. I don't know. And sometimes they just kind of meant the exact opposite, which is very confusing.
Yeah.
Also, what I wanted to actually say was smashing a mirror in some situations means, or in some regions means 7 years bad luck, and in other regions means 7 years bad sex.
Well,
so if you smash in a region where it means 7 years bad sex, smash a mirror with the plate around New Year's, does that mean that you're going to have a good year but shitty sex?
That is a trade I would be willing to take. But apart from that, probably. But the thing is, the 1 year might be good, and the next 6 years might be shitty and bad sex. But doesn't it also imply that by the end of the 7th year, on New Year's Eve, you could have a really good time?
it could also mean that your expectations have sunken so far that you just, that a really good time isn't,
Yeah.
No. That high.
Yeah. I mean, when the expectations are so low that the next moment something arises, you go for it,
So if anybody was confused because of sounds or some shit, my internet isn't working properly and I had to change rooms.
Serves you well for talking about non-PG topics.
Come on, we're gonna flag this one as explicit anyway, because we always do. And we've been swearing so much that seriously.
I mean, might as well go out with a bang.
Oh God. Yeah.
Colored
Anyway.
underwear. Colored underwear, South America.
Okay.
Apparently.
I heard from my grandmother when I was little, I don't know why, that on New Year's in Spain you wear red underwear.
That means, according to this, that you want to find love next year.
Possibly. I don't know. I haven't got a clue, but
or you're just good at planning your periods and wear red from the get-go.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Allegedly, yellow is for wanting wealth and white for just wanting peace.
Well, stripy underwear?
Well, yeah. Rainbow underwear.
But there's no, rainbow underwear does it because there's no white in a rainbow technically, but technically it is just a thing with a light, and would that mean that the white is implied?
Yes, because with the subtractive color mixing, all colors together are white. Subtractive.
I don't know where these weird questions, where these like meta questions are coming from, but I guess I had enough. I mean, I didn't have enough sleep this night because I just couldn't sleep. But I don't know what that was anyway. But
I had the same. My mother had the same, so it might be something in the air. There was something in the air that night.
God, stop it. Yeah, I don't know. But okay, is there any other New Year's customs that you found or that you remember? Or
yes. First of all, I found it funny that an article I found called German customs odd. I got defensive first and thought, what's odd about that? We fell led into a water, and then I thought, yeah, it's a bit odd. And I had to smirk about the one in Scotland. Well, all of those probably are valid for other areas as well, but I found most of them with one country as an example. I am familiar with the Scottish one too, for Germany, for example. In Scotland, the first person to cross your threshold is, well, after midnight on New Year's Eve, is thought to be an omen for the year ahead. And I found it funny because the best person to enter a house first is thought to be a tall, dark-haired man bearing gifts like coins. And
I remember that one.
Fair-haired people were reminiscent of Vikings, and they invaded those areas.
Of course.
For, obviously listeners who can't see me, I am very fair, tall, and blonde, and well.
Well, yeah.
My genetic testing also said I'm Scottish, so I think I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean.
And Irish and Welsh and English, all of that.
I haven't done that DNA thing yet, but we're definitely going to do that. My mom and me.
It's fun. I had no German. Well, my ancestors didn't have German, but it's the funniest bit because
I
yeah,
can actually, trace my family back quite a while just by names and just
yeah.
like and we actually can trace it back, like, I don't know, 200 years or something, or 250, and know the names of the people.
That's
like,
fun. In my family, I can't because people died in a carriage accident, which means they were fairly well off if they had a carriage, if it was their own. But the thing is, on that side, I can't trace it. On the other side, I do know. I've probably told this before, and it is your fun fact about me, that on my father's side, I am related to the woman who told the Brothers Grimm the stories, Dorothea Thiemann. So yeah, she was my great aunt. So there's that.
I mean,
but still,
storytelling is in the family anyway.
It is.
But I mean, my family kind of, I don't know if we have any stories like that or anything, because my family was mainly working class, and just in the last 2 generations kind of climbed out of that a little bit.
Yeah, mine too. I have I can't trace it back to her. I can't, I don't know anyway. My father might know. It's his side anyway. He has a lot of names, meaning he has collected a lot of information. Not that my father has a lot of names.
I mean,
depends on who you ask. But
okay.
I should stop.
Any other customs?
I was surprised that I couldn't find, well, on a very short research, I couldn't find customs from England. There was Ireland, there was Scotland, but in those articles about obscure facts, which is a matter of perspective, I dare say, England didn't pop up. But they should have New Year's customs. I mean, of course they do.
I mean, isn't like the general, I usually have the general assumption that if there isn't any weird custom to be found anywhere, it's usually meeting up with people in a pub and getting drunk.
Yeah. Oh, and singing Auld Lang Syne. Not everywhere, but of course that's English.
Yeah, that's pretty English. Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. Like singing music? I think there is like some songs, but I'm not actually that familiar with a lot of the German traditional songs, even though I'm really into old German folk music, like 19th century and stuff.
I do know that a German version of Auld Lang Syne exists, but
a German version of a lot of things exists. They did that in the 50s and 60s. They tried to do it similarly as France is still doing it. Like there is song versions in German of rock and roll songs from the 50s.
Yeah. Well, not
the
50s, but
the Beatles sang in German actually.
Yeah.
But
that was nice.
Otherwise it was just covers.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, I'm so annoyed when I'm showering and have my mobile phone hooked up to the Bluetooth mirror and it's playing ABBA, which is something that a lot of people would get annoyed at already. But no, I did choose to listen to ABBA, but then a song version comes on which is not English, and of course the tune is exactly the same, and I think, okay, yeah, you know the song, and then they sing in Spanish and I think, well, this is inconvenient, I can't change the song now. Sometimes I just listen to it because what can you do?
So I find it very weird that they sing in Spanish, but okay.
Spanish, Swedish, German, a couple. Swedish I get, I mean, they're Swedish, why shouldn't they?
They are Swedish, and if they sing in Swedish or in German, I kind of understand that.
Yeah.
Because I've learned a bit of Swedish and it's not that different.
Yeah,
So
I understand a couple of words in Swedish when they sing. Also, I know the songs, so it's not
yeah,
that big of a surprise that I know what they're singing about. But yeah.
yeah. But anyway,
Yeah, I found other New Year's customs too, to answer your question of an era ago. Um, well, there's Romania that I found amusing because I do that anyway. All of these, of course, to be taken with a little grain of salt. I'm no researcher in this. It's just something I pick up. And all of these are done in varying degrees. You know, not everyone in Germany pours lead, not anymore because we now have wax. Still salty about that. Don't do lead at home. Don't do lead.
don't do that. Oh God. Yeah.
Well, anyway, in Romania, it said that farmers spend New Year's Eve talking to their livestock and animals. What I found most funny about that tidbit was that the article said if they succeed, good luck comes their way. What do they mean if they succeed? You can always talk at an animal. If they succeed, does that mean if the animal talks back?
Or does that mean that the animal doesn't run away? Or I mean,
Probably, I would say that's a safe bet. But
yeah.
you know, anyone who has pets or spends time around pets, or even not, you know, there's gonna be that moment you say something to a dog or a cat or budgie or turtle or you know,
whatever animal.
yes,
Animal
whatever
of
cat,
the
yeah.
forest.
So yeah, apparently I am just hardwired to have good luck.
Well, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about other stuff.
A lot of things are thrown out of windows, I've learned. A lot of things are burned, a lot of things are smashed, a lot of things are thrown out of windows.
And
Paper.
you don't go to the forest because if anything, you know, if there is a pagan or any holiday, you don't go into the forest.
I live in the forest. That's hard to do. And there's
I mean, you don't go wandering in the forest.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I was raised with that knowledge that especially on like New Year's Eve, you don't go into the forest. Like you don't do that. And I'm still confused why, but
yeah.
I don't go
In our forest, it would have made sense years ago because there's a quarry nearby where people used to do satanic rituals. So satanic and or pagan rituals, and sometimes you'd go by, well, not while they were happening, but in broad daylight, and they still had symbols hanging in the quarry. So that's something.
But another thing that I think a lot of people do is like rope cutting or like laying cards or stuff like that, which is all stuff that I don't do. Also, Ouija boards is something I don't do because I always figure that I don't know if it works, and if it works, if it like summons something with whatever you do, how do you get it to go away again?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't really do any of that in case it works. And yeah, I don't know.
We just play board games most of the time.
Yeah, we never play board games.
Yeah, we do it regularly during the year, but it's not a lot of people during the year here. On New Year's, especially considering the times nowadays, meaning COVID, not the newspaper. I do need that break. I don't know what's wrong. The filter's gone. Well, considering COVID, there's also not a lot of people this year, but more than 2.
Yeah, not here. Yeah, anyway, I think we've been talking for quite a while, and I mean, we're not gonna get to a point because I don't think any of the stuff that we are talking about has a point.
Well, it doesn't, apart from, you know, all is sort of centered around getting rid of bad luck of the old year and acquiring luck for the New Year, I mean, with the tossing things out of the window, of course, that's getting rid of things. In Argentina, paper out of the window.
I find it really interesting because I just remembered that, you know, four-leaf clovers, not really traditionally around on, like, in December.
True.
I mean, not really there, but there's still a symbol. Like, you still give people stuff with a four-leaf clover on it for New Year's.
Yeah.
And then also, what are they called again? Kaminkehrer.
Chimney sweeps.
Chimney sweeps. You know, again, a general sign of luck, and you kind of give people plants, a four-leaf clover plant or a clover plant with a figurine of a chimney sweep in it.
Yeah.
Or then you have like a penny thingy
Mm-hmm.
or you have an actual like marzipan pig with a penny on it or something like that, and you have a lot of that, like tossing a coin, so a penny.
Yeah.
That's the thing, but those are all general signs or things for luck. And I don't know, I guess we kind of, because we want luck for the new year,
Yeah.
associate them with it as well, even though they don't really have a place there.
Even chimney sweeps, because wouldn't the fires be on at that time? There's no fire sweeping in winter. There shouldn't be.
I mean,
because ouch.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of, I guess it's just general luck stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know, also money plants, like, okay, they're but I think a lot of those come from China and similar places, but we kind of still give them to people as a sign of good luck for the new year. And it's like, yeah, or you give them also to people when they move in a new flat. You know, I don't know.
True. We gave one to my cousin when she emigrated from Ireland.
I mean, it's just this kind of wishing for something good and thus associating things that wish for something good anyway. And I guess that was when stuff began to be commercialized. I think that was kind of the time when this happened. But I did not realize when I was younger that because these things aren't really around, like chimney sweep figurines or stuff, aren't really around all year round.
True.
Even though they kind of are a general thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that at times the commercialization of things has made general signs for good luck or general signs for things become part of this commercialization for this one holiday.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that was very deep again. And
I'm all for including new customs, just making new customs. Let's close with that before I die from breathing wrong. just spontaneously, what would be a new custom that you would want to introduce? Can be a known one, can also be just a weird thing.
I don't know if it's I mean, it's not really a new custom, it's a very old custom technically, but for me it's a new custom. It's like burning sage and like doing that kind of stuff, and just putting up like herbs and things that take, you know, that keep away the evil, theoretically, which again I don't really entirely believe in, but in case it works.
And it's practically cleansing too. The room will smell nicer.
Yeah,
that's a nice one. I had nothing in mind when I asked you that. Although I would all be for singing Old Lang Syne. We've never done that. And I'm not the one to start that just spontaneously. I had another person of the party did that years ago. That was nice. So did it.
Okay, so I guess we're closing here, aren't we?
Yeah, signing off into the new
I
year.
mean, you're going to hear us again next year.
Talk at you next year.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe with a guest, maybe not, no idea.
We'll see about that, however luck strikes us. Or the
Yeah, if people toss coins at us. I mean, we're not witches, but
people are welcome to
nice.
toss coins at me. Please, 1 and 2 euro pieces, not the copper ones.
Okay, so
All right.
Happy New Year, I guess.
Happy New Year. Hailing frequencies closed.